everyone, and welcome back. Today we're going to be playing some more Golgari, and I've made a couple of other changes to this list that I've been playing from the past. But the other main thing that I did is I also actually took out all the lands this time around. So I kind of wanted to see what it would actually look like with some of the lands taken out. And this is a deck we can kind of experiment with it a little bit because we have the already hidden value with Karavek on the fact that we want to commit crimes with Karavek with the Gulch. So this does target your opponent. It does want damage to them, so it does trigger your Karavek if you need to do that sometimes. So when we play this on 3, if we don't quite have a way to commit a crime and we have this as our land drop, we can do that and then cast something like a Go for the Throat or a Cut Down from that graveyard and get a ton of value there. So other than that, what are we trying to do? Golgari right now is the definition of mid-range. You are just kind of trying to beat up on the aggro decks early by stopping them from being too aggressive, and then resolve kind of one of our big boys, whether that's a Sentinel of the Name of City. Glissa kind of fits that bill a little bit just because of the first strike and death touch, which means like no creature wins in combat versus card. And then Shieldred as well, being a 5 toughness, 4 damage death toucher, and just kind of help gaining some life there. Into Acklazotz as our kind of final top end card there. So other than that, in the mid-range plan, we get to the later games sometimes, and we have cards like Tiny Bones joins up, the Binding Negotiation, and then we have the Lilies and the Hostile Investigators to make sure that we're making our control opponents discard a ton, especially because they have to hit land drops and they have to keep their spells. And we're using a card like Mosswood Dread Knight to kind of be a early aggressor against control, and kind of forcing them to remove this. And if they don't exile it, we kind of cycle it, draw another card, and then replay it, and we keep 2 for 1ing that value with Mosswood Dread Knight. And Caustic Bronco, where they kind of have to kill this before we declare it as an attacker, because the problem is if we declare it as an attacker and they don't remove it and we say saddle it, they might find themselves getting pinged for a lot more than they want. Most likely it's the meaning is going to be roughly 3. Sometimes it'll be a little bit more, sometimes it'll be a little bit less with these 1-drops. But it just helps us draw cards and push that value against our control opponents as well. So other than that, we're going to go ahead and hop into the game, see how they go. I hope you all enjoy them. And if you like my content, please consider subscribing. I truly appreciate it. Let's just head out there and game. Realized I might need my microphone. But yeah, here we are. We got a hand. Keepable. We'll latch on. Looks like mono black, if I had to guess. Could be the mirror. Not. I do believe it's mono black, and I believe Cut Down is the card of choice here, or Go for the Throat. So we'll play a card that we can kind of recycle like that. We're right. Another land. No walker, no nothing here. I think we do just take the turn to cycle this, I suppose. Ripping a Cut Down up ourselves. They miss a land. Now I think we can just fill the board here. Do we set up a Bronco? Do we set up 2 Broncos and then play the Mosswoods post Bronco? We know every card in our hand has to be a spell, at the very least, right? So I could just set 2 more Mosswoods in play, but next turn I don't really want to cycle them, so I'm going to start off the Broncos here. Both get hit with Cut Down and things like that, but if we do run them out of resources, like eventually our creatures will start being good, especially like these Mosswoods. We've used 4 removal spells so far. They probably have 1 more Cut Down left, 3 more Go for the Throats, another missed land drop from our opponent. Run them back. And they are out of spells currently. Another Swamp comes in, a Shieldred. On our upkeep, that will be getting shot for sure. You could argue that we could have just played the Lily, but I like just kind of holding on here. We hit down the 14. We pass the turn. Demo field not online. We do have to be like a little bit careful with these land war waste. We see Seki Shieldred or Gix Command or an Acklazotz. All fine and good here. Tiny Bones joins up. We're gonna take a little bit of damage here. Do this. Fire off. Tiny Bones joins up, targeting our opponent. X. Sure. This one. I think they might have thought Acklazotz would be sticking around, potentially. We get the Gix command out of the way, and they concede on the sack. I do think they thought that Aklizots was going to stay, so they were willing to get rid of the Gix command because they wouldn't have to grab anything back. But also with what's in their graveyard, they kind of just get to activate one mode of Gix command and maybe bring back the Shielder or something, but it's not looking too great for them. Opponent goes first. I mean, creature. And then 2 lands. With us being on the draw, I'm willing to take a chance on this hand. Blue-black. The mere mid-range. I would assume it could be Esper, obviously. Sultai. Put this 3-2 in play. I feel like Reanimator is actually what I'm up against, but I could be wrong. There is like a Sultai control deck, Sultai being blue, black, and green, that does eventually... Missing a land here does kind of suck. Let's try to find one. You missed. Cut down would have been nice. Because at this point, Mosswood can go, even though we just saved one. But cut down can answer the Rustine. I'll take my damage. We find another source, but this mana base is getting painful. Hit. And then I'll play a Tiny Bones here. Like I said, our mana base, incredibly painful. Not that fun. Could argue that maybe they would have like a counter spell here, 3 steps ahead. Tiny Bones then kind of achieves its goal anyway. Target you. But what I was saying is there are Sultai decks that do the Atraxa plan as well. They end up playing like the artifact and making the last color mana they need. That would be the white. There's a Boseiju ×2. As you see, there's one in play already. Honest Rustine, grabbing back another Honest Rustine. They are legendary, so not a whole lot that's going to be doing for them. I guess I play this and I play the one creature that kind of doesn't hurt myself here. Make a map. Maybe I can activate that map later on a Dread Knight. Because most likely the Sentinel is not sticking, I imagine. We'll see. Yeah, did not stick. Now I have Karavak and I lose 1 or 2. I end up taking 4 damage to play as Karavak regardless. And they have another Rustine, because if I want to cut down Rustine, that's how that would end up happening. But I can also just set this in play and then play the Bronco as well. Yeah, I like that plan a little bit. And then just play this and go ahead and ping them. We lose a little bit of our value in terms of committing a crime, but I'm not like too broken up about it. We are at 10. At some point, we have to prioritize our life and eventually wear them out of their removal. We've already seen 2. Removal comes in companies of 3. Did I say white for Atraxa earlier? Interesting. Go for the throat, looking pretty good here. I have to kind of activate the Bronco, which is tough. So let's fire this off here. See what we get. Unable to activate. Could flash in a creature. Let's play Mosswood. We're looking to... Sure. Now I can kind of defend myself here. Then I can also attack, but then I kind of lose a little bit of value. Let's put a counter on Bronco here, so it has a little bit more fortitude going in. This gets a basic, but I'll... Oh. Search for a creature. I actually like that, because now we can collect evidence and get a shield rate out of it. No, we'll pass. We'll just double up our blockers, because I do have a cottage that can come in. Honest Rustine's available once again. We can also Karavak and do some other nonsense. Honest Rustine's cycling themselves. Inti for 1, sure. Broken down that we are 4 color legendaries. I mean, if they discard here, that's great. If they, especially if it's a Rustine. They just do a land. Hopefully there's no removal found. Arona that's unplayable too. Trample's a little tough, but I'll do this. We can kind of shut this Rona off regardless. Cast here. Do this. 3. One of these is not coming with us anyway. Do them all. We're not planning to cycle that. I could do a hostile investigator, or I could do Aclazotz. Aclazotz is actually really, really good here. And I could play it. Obviously, Shieldred's also good with a Rona available. But I kind of like playing Aclazotz because it also makes Rona really awkward and NT really awkward. So yeah, I'm going to grab Aclazotz. Because whenever they discard, it just makes it super weird for them. Because this is anytime you discard. I think, unless it's once a turn. Whenever each opponent discards for each opponent can't. Yeah, sure. Right away. Might even be able to hit a bat here. I think. This is just whenever they discard a land. I just don't want to read Aclazotz, to be honest. Let's block here. Sure. Whenever each opponent discards a card, for each opponent who can't draw a card, whenever that opponent discards a card, create a bat with token. Oh, I thought that was always active. Maybe I'm wrong. I messed that up, chat. You can play Rustine, get Urtai back, but they opt for a Rona here. Rona will not make it through this turn cycle. They could play Rustine. But again, Rona will not make this turn. Sure. Whenever it enters battlefield and control, gets 1. Sure. They grab another Rustine back just to have collateral there. That makes sense. But they lose it to my Aclazotz attacking. But they're probably most likely thinking I won't attack with Aclazotz. But 100% I am. I need the life. They're a little confused on it, but get a land back. Aclazotz hits. I gain life here. My mana taps in an agreeable way. Yes. I have to answer Rona. Do I answer multiple of their creatures here? I think so. I lose a little life, but I think it has to happen. We can stop this like Rustine cycle that we're kind of dealing with right now. Can cut down. Tiny Bones will now happen. Go for the throat going into the bin. Very sweet. Now they have land. They can bring up the cottage and attack. Golgari. Okay. No card to discard with NT. They can still bring it up. 8. Yeah? You have to discard? Now are you just sacking your land? That to me had to like be a mistake, right, chat? I can't imagine there's a world where that was like the intended purpose of what our turn was supposed to be. I can now cut down this and play Gissa, leave Karavak around, submit 0. I guess I can just play my hand out too, huh? First striker beats Trample. Submit 0. NT gone. The old Bronco in. I don't think I care if Karavak leaves here. Putting that pressure on. Trying to maximize it here. And a land, they falter. Okay, very cool. Yeah. I mean, we got quite the removal slate here. Our opponent does go first, which is a little scary. Would love for this to be a little bit quicker, but doesn't seem like it's going to be here. Veteran. Do we have mono white? We do. We needed... brutal here. Sure, I guess. We got a pass. And then this cut down's probably going to pick up a Stallia. Adeline's probably coming in. Typical mono white kind of turn 1, 2, and 3. Any one drop into Thalia and Adeline is pretty good. In combat, looking to pump a Stallia. Maybe they'll play another one. At least I don't have Adeline to worry about. Might have an additional Thalia. Grab an adversary, sure. Still pretty fine with that. Recruitment officers also fine. Okay, with double black next turn, we just go ahead and play this and get a hit with a Brutal Cathar. And then we can go for the throat that said Brutal Cathar and then shoot the other things. Wow. Almost like I knew it was coming. Dude, isn't it sad that I don't get to play Path of Peril, chat? Please miss. That's a lot to ask, but can you please miss? No? Okay. I have to cast a spell. They're most likely going to cast a spell themselves. This buffs 1-0. This buffs 1-1. And kick it once, then this can't trade here. But it can pick off anything else and then go for the thirds or doubling down pretty good next turn. Yeah, let's do that. Most likely adversary, I assume, stays. If I was gonna say, if adversary is the one that goes and then this enters, then I throw this in front of the knight. But most likely I see this coming in play, being kicked, and then we can kind of isolate some things down if they attack out. Adeline. No. Sure. Get their big creature off the board. Swamp. Shoot Brutal Cathar. Shoot Adeline here. Get my 3/2 black. My 3/2 back. And then throw a block somewhere. How to go to disguise the fact that I have another one. This obviously can make pauses happen. Demo field's available, so it can technically also make pauses happen. What do we have, opponent? Another Adeline comes in. We'll let combat happen, and then we'll go for the throat to Brutal Cathar and go from there. We do need to find a creature like a Shieldred at some point to kind of help bridge this gap and make sure we're getting our life back and stuff. This kind of spot removal is eventually going to run thin. We're at 14 in a tough spot. I think they're kind of deciding. Getting so much life off this veteran. Yeah. This one. Now we can get into this block. Do I have a block that makes sense? I guess as much as I want to block this, I think I have to block here. Well, this is still cut downable if I draw a cut down, right? 2, 6, 7, 8. This can fine, but I guess if they spend their entire turn looking for that, that's better. Down to 7. Oh boy. That's this one. Lily can come in a minus, but then I'm in a pretty vulnerable spot. I kind of need to be able to stop a Brutal Cathar, I think. This is what I'm talking about. I'm running a little thin here. They just keep hitting threats. My spot up removal is just not enough when they have all these 1-drops. This doesn't trade very efficiently. Even a Sentinel or something with a little bit more toughness that could block. That's why we asked for a Shieldred. Sure, make your bats and stuff. Do your thing. We really don't have a way to pick all this up, by the way. Honestly, if I'm in their position, it's a full send from me. I think just like dabbling here just doesn't make a ton of sense. I'm gonna pop this, which will make less damage happen across the board. And I need to keep this around so I have additional blockers. This, I guess. I don't even know what I can find. I lied. That's a pretty good draw. That's a 1-of. We find it. We hold. No Brutal Cathar, please. There would have been a spot that was kind of nice if we could have got it to go to nighttime. Because then Brutal Cathar enters on the backside and actually can't, like, get a creature out of the way. And then Aclazons is most likely going to have to block the recruitment officer. And Gonjo's possible, which takes my life gain away. What are we waiting on, dog? Like, what are we doing? We just sat there and, like, tanked on playing a Brutal Cathar? Like, just do it, brother. I'm tapped out. I got nothing. Like, what in the world? Putting us first, we can kind of play our entire hand without having to put a cottage in play, so I will keep this. Sure. I'm gonna take this opportunity to potentially cut down something. What do we got, opponent? Sure. Nice. Worked out pretty well. I think I have to binding here. Ooh. I think I'm gonna binding here. Land's tough. Codebreaker is pretty bad, so I'll just take Codebreaker out, play with fire. Sure, we take 2 damage and they scry and they get a little bit extra here. So I get hit for 6 with what this turn's looking like. Let's say ripped a Godric or a Squee or something. Squee would be devastating. Just play with fire, sure. Top or bottom? On the bottom, sure. We set up like kind of well to take this game back over. These tap lands will be a little bit annoying. Hopefully we can find another one so we can get this hostile investigator in. But right now it is what it is. We do have at least 2 plays to make. That's pretty good, I would argue. We have something as pausing priority, I think. Flick shots to most devastating. I also can't put a creature in front of it, so it's kind of like this might be a land, by the way, or it's a removal. Nice draw here. Hostile investigator is going to force that card out. I feel like it's just a land. They were wanting me to waste like a duress or something on it. Hostile investigator has a lot of reach, and mono red giving it up. Very cool. We come away with dub there. Very sick. All right, we go first. Very cool. We get tiny bones right away. We don't know if cut down's good, so there's no reason in waiting on it instead taking a turn off. When I can kind of tiny bones and then play a Bronco if it's probably clear. Four's off. Okay, Bronco most likely not that great. Most likely getting shot here. But we're gonna throw it out. Esper. Fun. The fun police is here. Most likely I have a hard suspicion that this is no more lies. There's the words that want to approach. Sure. Nah, I'm good. That thing out of my road, dude. Can't really play that side, so I guess I'll just go ahead and cycle it for now. Kind of just like setting up the fact that I'll be able to Caravec here, triggering the tiny bones, targeting them, and then cut down this Rafine play. Holy man, when you're predicting, I'm just predicting, bro. Let us go. We're free. Oh wait, I can't. It doesn't work though. Because it has ward. Next turn, chat. Shut up. You know what I meant. Do this just because we want to get in. Brutal. I was like, wait, I'm so smart. And then I'm like, that got ward. They got ward 1, chat. It's why it's so good. Earth time, maybe? Will they attack me? Going shields down. Deep cavern bat. Sure. Now, you know I have the cut down. So I'm going to throw this up there. This is a known thing. And then we can absolutely crush their hand, by the way. We have Tiny Bones come in. Legendary rule apply. We can recast Tiny Bones again, taking the 2 cards out of their hand. And then we can even, with the extra mana on that second Tiny Bones trigger, then cut down Rafine if they discard like a land or something here. Will they take the Tiny Bones or will they take Glissa? They take Glissa. I'm okay with that, but their hand is getting ripped apart next turn, whether they realize that or not. Hopefully they discard a land here, making our cut down still viable. Just out of range. Tough. Well, there's a green land. That's fine with me. I don't know if they realize that their hand's getting crushed here. Cut down's fine. I can demo field, target one of their lands, but then that gives them access to mana. I think the best play is the double Tiny Bones joins up play, and then we'll just cut down the Deep Cavern bat, but I take like 6 off of that. Oh, that's tough. Doesn't really matter which one. I kept the wrong one. Oops. I'm supposed to keep the token. Big mistake by your boy. I'll take that. Lily going to be pretty good. And now I have Lily play, Lily minus. I have Lily play, Lily minus, cut down the bat. Unless they discard 2 non-land cards and then cut down won't work. They only discard 1, I take 4. I'll take a total of 6? Or a total of... I don't know. Oh, they got it. That's a little tough. Cut down not going to get it done. Kind of tragic, to be honest. But I don't think they... Bullet here.
Nobody knows
Mid-0.
Off you go.
They let Rafine go. Interesting. I mean, I'm going for this draw. Could have did that before I played the Mosswood. That's a mistake. My bad, chat. There's definitely a mistake. I just thought I wanted Karavek to attack. That's pretty much where I was at. I'll take my damage. They'll gain life. Plus. First thing I'm doing. Sure. Yes, this is fine. I'll take this counter. This actually works out better for me. So now I do this, and then cut down comes in. Cut down targets this. Putting my life total in a pretty risky spot. But I don't think our opponent realized that actually Tidebinding that Liliana is going to hurt them way more than anything else. They honestly... They knew about to go for the throat, right? Yeah, because it's revealed off Karavek for the damage. So I get both of these cleared, and then because they counter this, Liliana still gets the plus. But now I don't have to discard a card, which is super sick. So I then clean up the board. They're in top deck mode. I swing for 6 here, and then I get to play this other Mosswood, and I'm all out aggro towards the dome. Just going all in. Very cool. Getting to play this turn 1. kind of shooting our opponent, playing this, really getting to investigate their hand. Looks like Boros, but turn 1 tap land is questionable. I was gonna say I don't think it's the Boros we think it is. Exile up to 1 target artifact, creature, enchantment you control, and return to the battlefield under its owner's control. Tali's favor. The Emperors are the most annoying for sure. I guess I just take this for now. Like, the Emperors are annoying, but at the end of the day, it's like whatever. Well, the Emperors are slightly less annoying now. This is just exile up to 1 target creature enchantment you control and return to the battlefield under your control. Draw a card. Sure. Combat. This one. Wow, that card's good. I'm gonna play Glissa here. It says up to 1, so that's 3 mana, draw a card. Cool. I think my plan is to not let these Emperors have any value. I'm just attacking like this. We have to play this weird game that I hate playing right here. They could Sunfall me. So maybe like the plan should be just to like grow this if I can. If they have removal, then sure. Cut down can go for now. I'm looking for a land. Let's target the same creature. This is a bigger threat on its own, and get lost is obviously possible. I mean, at this point, I might as well just keep digging, right? Caustic Bronco is pretty cool, but I'm still letting it go. Caravac can get these back later. Sure. Now with an Emperor in play, like I fear this one significantly less. Because it's like, is your plan to play that in and now exile my creature after that? Or what's the play, you know? Their plan is probably to actually fire this off on that and maybe like start growing it, but then they're tapped out and then they lose their Emperor. Because I can always go for the throat their creature that they have, and then Glissa can hit face. Yeah.
Watch for intruders.
This is instant speed? No, sorcery. Okay. I'm willing to give them a chance to get rid of Glissa here, I guess. Yeah, sure. I'm also going face. They want to flash this Emperor in, exile this Glissa, be my guest. That is fine with me. I just genuinely didn't figure they would go for this.
Protect my people.
They also had... doesn't quite get there, I guess. That's fine.
This is what you get for hurting my people.
Going for this. I would like to go find a land. Grab a swamp. Now I could play Shielder, and Shielder could put a lot of pressure here. Yeah, I'm down with that. Shielder to put pressure in on her own here. Sure, they have this to kind of like start popping off a little, plussing, maybe giving an extra little lifelink and stuff, which is like fine to me, but at the same time, I have like 9 on the board as well. Is it double strike? Trample, first strike, indestructible, and haste. Interesting. Sure. Dick. Interesting. I can hostile. I don't want to really do that. Shielder go at the Emperor. Or does my Sentinel go at the Emperor? I definitely think Sentinel goes. Shielder, I think, just sits back. Let's fire this off first. I get a double block here. This is fantastic. It's a little bit sneaky because they obviously have the land here.
See you later.
Plot one of these. Then we're going to pass here. I have go for the throat, so I feel pretty confident in my plan. Sure. Like, sure, one of these might hit me. But at the end of the day, like, they have to spend 4 mana on one of these. And if they target the bigger one, I just go for the throat in response. They might protect it, but at the end of the day, like, once we get through all these, it's going to be hard for them to win. They kind of have to do it within the next 2 to 3 turns, I think. Sure. That is gone. That 5/5 is impressive. Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right. Well, we're here. I have cards to talk about in Magic the Gathering plays that we made today. So there was a comment. I believe I responded. I might not have, but somebody was saying extract the truth. That was true. So this somebody I think said was the best like discard spell. The only problem is this one's rotating. So to do a cover like this, we had to talk about this one, and we can't play it right now. So that sucks, as it is a good card, and this is definitely the best one. But again, it's rotating. So for us, we opted to play a binding negotiation. These are kind of tradable. If you want to play Extract the Truth first until it kind of rotates, and then pick out the binding negotiation, do that if you want. But here we are. I'm going to talk about the deck a little bit and kind of some changes I made. So I have been playing 3 copies of Duress, and I opted to change it up a little bit and put these tiny bonus joints up in just to try it out. I haven't quite tried it that much, so I was like, what if we do this? Because we're already on Caravac at some points of the game, and we wanted to potentially kind of interact and do it free. We saw how one of our games where we were able to kind of interact with Esper quite a bit and make it very troublesome for them with like removing a creature and then bringing a cut down back and popping it that way. But I think it's just very good with that. And then just the small little bits of damage it does can kind of help speed up the clock, especially whenever you're playing something like a Shieldred or an Aklazot's coming back, and this is just in play, constantly pinging your opponent. It's very, very good that way. Other than that, I mean, our removal suite, we kind of went down on 1 removal spell. I took the long goodbye out to play like this binding negotiation. And these are obviously Duresses, but now I made them tiny bonus joints up. You can obviously keep playing Duress. They don't rotate either if you prefer to play it over this. I don't see a problem with that at all, especially with the change I'm talking about next. And that is getting like 2 Sentinel of the Nameless City in here. This card might feel a little bit worse when rotation happens, but right now with the Wandering Emperor being so prevalent and still like obviously here, it's not gone. This having Vigilance is so important in beating that card alone, as we saw in that last game there. Emperors were not able to stop it. I was just like, all right, attack with my 3/4 with Vigilance, make another map token, grow it. We had it as a 5/6. Their creatures couldn't get through. The Emperor can't exile it. They can't really get around it in any way. And we're just like, sure, shove them in. Shove them in. And it doesn't have Legendary, so that's very cool, which is why like you can argue this is supposed to be Duress. Other than that, we're also lower on Lilies in this deck. Some of these lists will be playing 4. Mono Black especially plays 4 Lilies. And then we are up a Hostile Investigator here. And as you can tell, I'm making it harder on ourselves. So us coming away with a pretty good win streak there is actually nice on the fact that I'm not even playing the lands anymore. Kind of full sail rotation in this deck. And we have 1 forest, 5 mountains is what I wanted to say. 5 swamps, the blooming marshes. This is not rotating. I just have the old ones from when they kind of came to the Explorer / Pioneer format. So these are the ones I have. But we put the Fetching Gulches in here because they also trigger Caravac and commit crimes because they do target your opponent and do the same thing I'm talking about with like Tiny Bones joins up. If we do Tiny Bones plus this, like that's 2 extra damage, and sometimes that's just enough, especially when you have a Shieldred trying to take your opponent down. Or you have like Caustic Bronco. Every point of damage could matter eventually. So like kind of pinging them a little bit across the board there is pretty nice. Is this every time? Yeah, it's when they mill a card, they lose 1. So like you play this and then you kind of lean into playing Caravac and triggering it, or Glisten triggering it, Shieldred, Aklazot's, kind of pinging them a little bit, and then hopefully the gulches can also get there. I will say the tap lands here are a little bit tough at times. It definitely felt like we were playing a tap land pretty often, but not too much that it hindered us too badly. And I think our biggest weakness in this build right now is kind of that Boros mono white deck, because they go so wide, and if we don't get a creature like the Nameless City to kind of get in the way and then have the removal for that Brutal Cathar, then it gets pretty difficult for us to answer. But other than that, this is the list how you've been playing in best of 1 specifically. Best of 3, obviously a lot of things change. At least you're kind of playing for the sideboard and things like that. But other than that, that's all for me. I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll catch you next one. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.